Samsung has the best-selling Android phones right now, and the Galaxy S7 is their newest flagship. On paper, the specs are as good as they come, but does the design and user experience match? I'm Jason with Maslintech, and here's my review of the Galaxy S7. The design of the S7 is beautiful. There's a metal band tying together the glass slabs on the front and the back. The 5.1-inch screen is surrounded by very little bezel, and the camera hump on the back is very subtle. On the bottom is a headphone jack and micro USB, as well as the single speaker, and on top is the SIM tray with an integrated micro SD slot. The Galaxy S7 checks all the boxes for an Android handset, so it's off to a good start. The good news continues with the specs. The US version of the S7 is powered by a Snapdragon 820 and 4 gigs of RAM on board. The Adreno 530 GPU powers one of the best looking displays I've ever seen on a phone. At over 570 pixels per inch, it's extremely sharp. Text and images look amazing, and colors are deep and well saturated. The phone works very well for VR with such a high resolution. I tested it out with Google Cardboard, and it was pleasantly engrossing. Viewing angles are great, and the screen is bright enough for normal outdoor use. Samsung introduced a new Always On feature that powers on just the pixels needed to show small bits of information like the time or a calendar. The camera is also top-notch. The rear shooter is a 12 megapixel camera with support for 4K video at 30 FPS. Photos are sharp and accurate, and video looks absolutely incredible. The autofocus is the fastest I've ever seen, and can give some real depth to photos and videos. I'd say this is the best camera on a phone right now. The front camera is 5 megapixels and adequately sharp, and the built-in camera app has a handful of selfie enhancements, but thankfully those can be turned off. Getting to the camera is quick, with a double click of the home button to launch it. Speaking of the buttons, the home button has a physical click as well as an integrated fingerprint sensor. The sensor was okay in my testing. Not as good as the iPhone 6s or the OnePlus 3, but better than the original Touch ID in the iPhone. The capacitive back and recent buttons are in reverse order like Samsung likes to place them, and rest on either side of the home button. The S7 is thicker than last year's model at 7.9mm. Bucking the trend of thinner and thinner, Samsung used this opportunity to add IP58 water resistance and a larger battery. I didn't test out water resistance myself, but the battery did an okay job in my testing. With normal use, I get to the end of the day with 20 to 30% left. Fast charging on the S7 worked well for topping off here and there, but plugging into a different wall charger or computer charged the phone at a painfully slow rate. Doing anything heavy on the phone, like 3D gaming or recording 4K video, would drain the battery from a full charge to dead in less than 3 hours. It's normal for heavier tasks to drain a battery faster, but the S7 seemed to discharge extremely fast under load. My biggest issue with the S7 didn't come in the form of hardware, but rather the software out of the box. Samsung's evolution of TouchWiz is still pretty ugly in my opinion, and out of the box you're presented with a ridiculous number of notifications and tutorials at the first launch of most apps. Bundle this with the Verizon version's unnecessary bloatware, and you have an out-of-the-box experience that would make a Windows XP computer from Best Buy blush. I spent the first 2 days customizing the phone to my liking, and once I did, I was really happy with it. But compared to the OnePlus 3 out of the box, the S7 is a lot more demanding. Thankfully, that's the worst thing I can say about the phone. Samsung has been really good about giving you options with their phones. The S7 currently sits alongside the S7 Edge and the S7 Active, which offer a larger screen and sturdier phone respectively. Overall, I'd give the S7 a solid buy, with the caveat that you need to take some time to make it yours. A Google Play edition of this phone would be fantastic. There is no bad spec or glaring flaw on the S7. The screen and camera are on top of the game right now, and every other spec is competitive with other 2016 flagships. What do you think? Is the Galaxy S7 the best Android has to offer, or do you think upcoming phones like the Moto Z will be more compelling? Let me know in the comments. Once again, this is Jason with Maslintech. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.